In this video, I'm gonna tell you why cold women always win when we are talking about relationships. So the main thing that I will be encouraging you to do is being cold a little bit more than being warm and hot and tranquil and, all that serendipity thing you think you should be having in the relationship. Now, with many of my clients, we always talk about the ratio. I said that also in the video before. Ratio is the ratio in which you balance being extremely hot or extremely warm with a man and being extremely cold. Now, basically, you want to try to alternate things. You want to mix it up. Things have to be spicy and mix it up. That's what you want to do. You are dating with a man, you're dating a man, whoever he is. There has to be the unexpected things, the unexpectations. There has to be the mystery. There has to be no chance to being too able to predict what's going to happen or what's not going to happen. You have to be able to make him doubt about you. He needs to have doubts. He cannot be sure or certain that you're going to be doing certain things or different things, and especially at the beginning of the relationship. So if you start being cold, then he starts having doubts about you and about what you could be doing, what's happening, what's going on, etc., etc. If there's other men around you, he needs to know that there could be other men that are trying to get you, trying to seduce you and things like that. So basically, you could use those antagonists in a way that he actually starts thinking maybe she's flirting with someone else, maybe she's having someone else texting her, maybe she's flirting with this guy. What's going on? So that's the way it works. And also, you want to use coldness in order to victimize yourself, to manipulate him and induce him into staying as an underdog. So that makes him extremely easy to manipulate. What do I mean by that? So being a victim means that, say he actually accuses you for being too cold or being too impatient for something, or actually just being, just a bit of a bitch. If he starts accusing you like that, then maybe the right thing to do will be to start victimizing yourself. Victimizing yourself means being a victim, acting as a victim. There's Robert Greene actually talks very well about this, and he's amazing. And he actually says, playing the victim, If you read the book like 48 Laws of Power, I suggest you to read that book. It's amazing. So he starts talking about being a victim, playing a victim. Now, when someone accuses you and says you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing this and that, you want to find the spots where you can actually leverage on being a victim. Like, for example, he says that you're being too cold, then you can say, that makes me feel a bit too sick. Why are you saying that to me? That makes me so sad, It really makes me sad. You shouldn't say things like that. That's so bad from you. It's so bad from you. That's so wrong. Why are you doing that? So actually saying something like this allows you to get rid of, that accusation is actually bringing up front to you, and allows you to reverse engineer the social dynamic you're having with him. Why you want to reverse engineer that? Because actually that allows you to not only keep on being cold with a good ratio. Remember, the ratio will be 1 to 2, 1 to 3, where once in a while you are super warm and 2 times in a row you're cold, but also allows you to appear as a victim. So you're reframing the social dynamic in course you're having with him. So you're actually using a different way to manipulate the guy. Now, why do you want to manipulate him? Because men fall in love with women that are able to stay cold and manipulate. Okay, there's a good old saying, and Robert Greene also talks about this, and he was saying men want to lose control. I was listening to him in a podcast, and in the history, like for example, Cleopatra used to seduce the emperor, you know. And she used to make men lose control when they were with her because she was taking the control. So men have this, you know, this pretty sick frame where in the reality they feel they need to take control of things. They need to drive. They need to, you know, the masculine thrive. There has to be. They need to focus. They need to express their energy and things like that. But also, what does that mean? That means that when they find a way to release all that control, they become extremely vulnerable and they end up falling in love with you. So you need to allow them to lose control when they're with you, and you need to be able to take the control. Now, you don't want to take control in an extrovert way. You want to take the control in the relationship in an introvert way. So as I was telling you before, it's about taking the control in an implicit way, like where you are trying to take control of the relationship and you are basically using the victim effect. So you're playing the victim effect, you're being cold, you're being passive aggressive, and using the right ratio when doing this. You need to know when you're doing this, you need to know how to do this. And that's the right way. That's the right way to start, you know, getting him to start wrapping him around all your, you know, all this kind of mental fog you're going to be creating, and you will be keeping him inside the relationship. You will be keeping him addicted to you. And in the meantime, while he is in this, you know, witchy fog where you're some kind of a witch and making him dependent on you, then you're also showing him that this could be lost. When he knows he's actually under your control, and when he's dependent on you, and he starts trying to understand what the fuck is going on and why you're being cold and warm all the time, then he needs to know that there's some antagonists around there, so that there's other men that actually desire you. He needs to know, he needs to find out that there's other men that desire you. And it doesn't have to be explicit, because men don't want to, especially in Italy. I'm also talking about the Italian side of it, but it's a mirror of our society. You know, men are always the same. So especially in the Latin native countries and things like that. But when he feels like he's losing the control, he needs to start knowing and seeing that you're probably also maybe flirting with some other guy. There's a guy actually texted you. Maybe you say, oh, there's this guy, is so boring, he keeps texting me on Instagram, forget about him. And you just leave a seed like that. That's a mental seed, you know, that's a mental framework. You're giving him this mental framework where there's this, this seed that he actually gets in his mind, and he starts thinking about, oh shit, snap. There's another guy, why is she flirting with him? Then he starts asking you questions. You're testing him. If he starts asking questions to you about this guy that's actually texting you on Instagram, then he's going to be all of a sudden, he's going to start thinking, oh my God, this is so sick, oh my God. And then you will know, because you're testing him, you will know that he's actually hooked. He's being hooked with you. So that's the way to hook a guy. Basically, these things also work with women. I have to admit that, because I've been using those. But in the meantime, focus on using these, and remember why you want to use a good unbalancing, so a good ratio in order to be in cold and warm. There's going to be a much bigger contrast. The human brain works by contrast, so you want to use the contrast in order to seduce a man and make him dependent on you.